Hi, Bruno here. Welcome to Spainguru. Rental agreement for the Spanish Non-Lucrative Visa, dealing with the Chicago and Houston Consulates requirement. Now let's see the specific question of this Spainguru community member. The Chicago Consulate requires you to have a signed 3-month lease or to already own property before you can even apply for the non-lucrative visa. How would one get a signed rental agreement without being in Spain and without having a Spanish bank account? Does anyone have experience with this? And why I am not seeing this requirement at any other consulate? Lease of minimum 3 months signed by 2 parts of it. If the applicant owns a property, must present the title deed of the property or nota simple. Now let's see the answers of Spainguru community members. First one, it's also required at Houston, I believe. Someone here got their Airbnb to do it. Next one, I chose a few Airbnbs I liked, sent the host messages in Spanish explaining the situation and asking if they'd be willing. I had 2 that said yes. They need to write you a contract and then provide the nota simple. I pay the first month on Airbnb and I will pay the other 2 to him directly without the Airbnb fees. And for context, a nota simple is an official property registry document in Spain that provides a brief summary of a property's legal and physical characteristics, ownership history, and any charges or liens against it. It is often used in real estate transactions as a way to verify the property's legal status and ownership information. Next answer. It's exactly why I don't provide assistance with NLV applications at the consulates in the US. Too many consulates, too many differences to keep track of. Next answer. Idealista is the place to look. If you are going to try to contract without seeing a place first, then use a recommended agent and just know the fee is high, but worth it if it keeps you from having to make a separate trip here to find a place. Next one. Move to Florida first. The Miami consulate seems the easiest. Miami does not require a lease, but you really have to move there because you have to submit a driver's license to prove you do. Next answer. I'm so glad I had just moved to Georgia. The Miami consulate was super easy. I just wrote my aunt's address and that's it. Next one. I know it's crazy, but every consulate has different rules for the non-lucrative visa. Some only require the name of the city you're moving to, others require you up to a 12-month lease. Welcome to Spanish bureaucracy. Once you get here, it's not much better. Every region has its own rules. Next answer. I went through the Chicago Consulate in the fall of 2021 and at that time the requirement was 1-year lease. I made a trip here to open a bank account and lease an apartment. I got a NIA number before coming. It was tough, but I got it done. Next answer. Jesus. That's just such a giant wall to climb. Like others said, I'd say an Airbnb would be the easiest option, but it's certainly not the cheapest, unfortunately. Another option, which is probably equally as expensive but maybe not, come to Spain as a tourist for 2 months or less and find a place while you are here. I would give yourself more than 2 weeks as it's not always easy to find a place lately without a guarantor, so I've heard. But you believe it's possible. I would be careful doing anything exclusively online though, because that's how people get scammed. Another similar idea, if you have a really good friend to look at the places here, you could have them look at the place for you. Next answer. Houston has the same requirement. Work through a local realtor that was referred. Managed to find a secure in a week. They helped explain the requirements. Same in Houston. Rented for 6 months, wired the money via international transfer, and there were no issues. Next answer. When we apply through Houston, they require proof of 1 year. Ridiculous to have to prove a future residence before being approved to live there. We bit the bullet and bought a house before we even got our visas. We knew we'd qualify for the visa, so weren't worried, but it's a stupid rule. And the last one, you can also try Spot a Home, a web portal to rent property in Spain for several months. In conclusion, the process of obtaining a non-lucrative visa for Spain can vary significantly depending on the consulate. The Chicago Consulate at the moment requires a signed 3-month lease or proof of property ownership before the visa application, which has caused some difficulties for the applicants. However, some members of the Spainguru Facebook group suggested solutions, such as using an Airbnb and contacting hosts in Spanish to write a rental contract and provide a nota simple. Some also suggested using recommended agents or even moving to another state with more relaxed requirements like Miami in Florida.
You can become part of our Spainguru community today by joining our Facebook groups.
Our most important group is the Spain Immigration and Residency Questions group, with over 17,000 members. We also have dedicated groups for Spanish Non-Lucrative Visas with more than 2,300 members, and for the Spanish Digital Nomad Visa with 2,000 members. And if you need expert professional advice, we've got you covered. Just head to spainguru.es and check out our top menu. You'll find immigration experts, relocation agencies, tax advisors for Spanish and US filings, sworn translators, apostille services, and health insurance providers for all types of Spanish visa applications and renewals. That includes non-lucrative visas, golden visas, student visas, and digital nomad visas, as well as medical certificates for visa applications and travel insurances. Finally, I highly recommend you join our weekly newsletter, which we send out every single Monday morning. You'll get tons of information, questions and answers, featured blog posts, and even news updates. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.